Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again with another episode of the AC Milan career mode here on Xbox One. It's time to get into the Champions League once again. Of course, it's back from its winter break, and as we head into episode number 40, we also head away to Russia to CSKA Moscow to take on them in the first knockout round of the European competition. Now, there are a few teams still in it, a few big teams still in it as well, as you might expect, with it being only the first knockout round. Barca win, Real and PSG draw their opening leg, and Man United and Galatasaray win their corresponding first legs as well. So there's definitely some huge teams for us to come up against should we progress through this particular part of the competition. But we get off to a great start. Kazuki Honda, who of course came to Milan from CSKA Moscow, puts us 1-0 up in the 18th minute. I would have done the apology celebration considering it was his former club, but I didn't know how to do it, so I just kind of spammed A to do the kind of traditional stereotype celebration that each player has. It wasn't long before they were back on level terms. As you can see, a drilled ball across from Rasmus Elm actually gets the ball into the back of the net with a sliding finish from the striker. I think it was Musa on the end of it, although I'm not entirely too sure if that's correct or not. But as we head late on into the first half, a glorious long through ball played down the left towards Alan Zagwev is just about kept in. A whipped cross plays it in towards Musa. It's deflected back to Kola, and he's able to square it to Vernbloom, who draws a good save out of the goalkeeper Guita. But we do survive. Went in at half time at 1-1 and pushed into the second half. And actually, CSKA Moscow were a very, very tough opponent. And I found them quite difficult to break down. But Kazuki Honda breaks free here. Lovely ball inside to Julian Draxler. I had to take that shot early because the defence was coming, and the goalkeeper just about gets enough on it, tips it onto the post, and they were able to scramble it clear. But Draxler's involved again. Down the left-hand side to Rubinho. Nice turn inside, actually, to get away from one defender. He's got a man square of him. It's Kazuki Honda again. Hits it on the volley first time, deflected. And for a second time in the game, it's a deflected shot that leads to us scoring a goal. This time it's Adam Yajic on the end of it, and we go 2-1 up in the 78th minute. Take a controlling lead in not only the game, but the tie as well. Remember, 2 away goals could be absolutely crucial when it comes to the overall two-legged tie. But Jeremy Lons gets tackled, but does receive the ball back again from Musa. Hits the base of the post, and we scramble it clear. So now both sides have hit the post, but crucially, we've scored twice. They've only scored once, so they are definitely up against it for the second leg when they return to Italy to the San Siro, when we have that not only scoreline advantage, but the 2 away goals as well. But we push into the next game against Torino in the Serie A. It's a strong starting lineup again, although of course Alexander Lacazette is having to start up top right now because Mario Balotelli, if you missed yesterday's episode, is out for 8 weeks with a dislocated shoulder. There is an annotation, as always, in the bottom left hand side of the picture to take you to yesterday's episode if you missed it. But as you can currently see, we are 5th in the table, 3 points behind Napoli and in second, and 6 points behind Juventus, who are top of the table. But we are in an extremely good run of league form right now, hoping to continue that here if we possibly could against Torino, who are actually a very, very good side. They've got a couple of great strikers in Alessio Cerci and Ciro Immobile, and they were definitely going to cause me some problems in this game. But we came close there through Ep40 taking the lead, just couldn't quite get enough whip on it to bring it back inside the post. But Cerci's on the ball here, 20 minutes in, stands the ball up, and we mentioned Alessio Cerci and Ciro Immobile, and they link up perfectly there. Stood the ball up with the cross, and Immobile is there to head the ball into the back of the net. We actually go 1-0 down, but just a few minutes later, Pedro's going to do a nice, or Giovanni Dos Santos rather, is going to do a nice step over to let the ball go all the way through to Pedro, receives the ball back, and then hits the post. Unfortunate for the Mexican there not to get us back into the game, but we push on towards half time. Polly involved again, nice ball across to Pedro, great first touch, sets him up perfectly for a wonderful finish. And I mentioned yesterday as well the fact that regardless of the fact that Mario Balotelli is out and we're looking to Alexander Lacazette to step up and score goals, the midfield are doing exactly the same. Pedro has now scored something like 3 or 4 goals in the past 3 or 4 games. He's on a really, really hot streak, but we came close to taking the lead there at the end of the first half. Unfortunately, Lacazette strikes the post ourselves in this game, but they get themselves 2-1 in front just after half time, 49/50 minutes in, and it's Torino 2, AC Milan 1. So we really needed to step it up another gear if we wanted to get anything out of this game. Decidio plays in the informed Pedro, gets it back from the young Spaniard, and unfortunately the goalkeeper isn't troubled too much by the shot from our right back / left back / rotation wing back. Decidio plays all over the defence for us right now, and sometimes in midfield, but Giovanni Dos Santos races away That is a gorgeous turn inside. Literally takes out 3 men with one turn, and then an expert finish in off the far post. This time we hit the woodwork, and it does cross the line into the back of the net. And we're back on level terms at 2-2 just after the hour. And I left a replay in because this turn, there's 3 defenders on him, and just that one turn inside, an extra little touch, takes out all 3 men, and it's a glorious finish to round the move off. So we were hoping we could build on that towards the end of the game and put some pressure on them, and they made a mistake there, getting a little bit nervous under pressure, and we were able to draw a save out of the goalkeeper yet again, but unfortunately not take the lead again for the 3rd time in this game. And so far, it's been Torino that score first, and then us that are getting ourselves back level. But Lacazette shows great feet to play in. Pedro, nice ball across goal with the shot. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper saves it, but in stoppage time at the end of the second half, we get a stroke of luck. It falls straight to Alexander Lacazette's feet, puts the ball into the back of the net in the 91st minute, as you can see on the scoreboard, and we do take a 3-2 win. So we just about maintain our winning run in Serie A. I think it's 5 or 6 games in a row now, if not a little bit more. And then the final game of the episode is actually another Intercity game against Inter Milan. Now, the past 2 times we've played Inter, we've beaten them by 4-0, regardless of whether it's been quote unquote a home or away game, even though all games between the two sides are played at San Siro. But we have beaten them 4-0 in the past 2 attempts. So I was hoping for a similar scoreline. Inter are struggling this season, and they're in 7th or 8th in the league, not really on the pace at all. And of course, in January, they did sell their main striker, Edin Dzeko, to Chelsea back to the Premier League. So I was hoping to have another dominant display, and we were actually quite strong when it came to the possession in the opening stages. Decilio's going to whip in a cross, and that diving header, by the way, Alexander Lacazette steps up yet again, and it actually took a bit of a deflection. I thought it was just an absolutely phenomenal diving header. The first replay doesn't show it quite so well, but the second replay will show it absolutely perfectly. It takes the deflection off the defender that's nearest to him, and that rifles it just there off his arm right into the top corner, which means that the goalkeeper can't get anywhere near it. That was a deflection it needed to ensure it went into the back of the net. It might have gone in had the deflection not been there, but the goalkeeper would have definitely stood a better chance of saving it. But Mauro Icardi brings them back on level terms 26 minutes in. Brought it down quite nicely actually as the ball came across, and was deflected up by the header, and Sheju went down injured there. Unfortunately, he didn't have to come off, but he will be struggling to return to first team football in the next few weeks. Unfortunately, we'll confirm that with an email towards the end of the episode. But Nigel de Jong's on the ball. He plays in Alexander Lacazette. This time trying to find that same top right hand corner, but can't quite do it with that finesse shot. And the goalkeeper's easily able to pluck that out of the air. But de Jong's on the ball again, weirdly being the creative force in the midfield at the minute in this game. But Pedro plays in Alexander Lacazette plays in Pedro, and that is a really, really good finish. There was not much of an angle to play with there. If he didn't get the angle just right, it was either going to be a save by the goalkeeper, or he was going to pull it all the way across the goal, and they'd have just got themselves a goal kick. But he found that minuscule couple of millimetres, couple of centimetres, couple of inches, whatever your measurement wants to be, just inside the post. We are able to extend our lead to 2-1 as opposed to 1-0 / only being at 1-1. But Lacazette comes very, very close there, cutting inside beautifully, and unfortunately the goalkeeper just stabs out a big curly turn. We aren't able to extend that lead further, but we were able to keep creating chances in the second half. Honda again this time, and on his right foot rather than his left. Not a bad effort considering his weak foot isn't that good actually, but bend that one just past the far post, and we stay at 2-1 still, but we on the front foot yet again. Ep40 cuts inside, goes for that shot towards the far post, but it's really quite a poor effort, to be completely honest. Earlier on in the season, he was in a great run of goal-scoring form, Ep40, and he's still performing well, but he's not quite getting the accuracy into his shots, and his goal scoring has kind of dropped off a little bit, which is disappointing. You do like to have goals coming from the midfield, but fortunately Benyat has stepped up this year, and coming into the club for about £9 million, we brought him in for about the same as what we sold Ricardo Montolivo on for, but he's definitely brought an added goal scoring threat into the team. But Polly himself is involved again here, plays the ball out wide to Adam Yates. He has the option to stand it up, but instead he decides to run into the box, play it back to Honda, again on the right foot, and it's another deflected effort that this time flies past the post rather than inside the post, and unfortunately nothing was going to come of the corner. It was just a simple header and a simple save for their goalkeeper, but we were able to come out with all 3 points yet again against Inter, although this time it was a much closer game. So perhaps they were relying too much on Edin Dzeko in previous games when they played against us, but again, as you can see, confirmation that Aurelien Sheju has suffered a sprained ankle. It's going to be out for 3 weeks, but fortunately Leonardo Bonucci has come back from injury now. He's fully fit and will be able to fill in the slot for Situ, who we initially brought in to fill in for Bonucci when he was injured. So it's all come full circle. But as you can see, we sit third in the league now. We're in the Champions League spots, only 3 points behind Napoli and Juventus, who sit joint top of the table on 60 points apiece. But that's going to bring this one to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. There will, of course, be a World Cup Stickerbook episode tonight for you guys to check out. So feel free to check your sub boxes around about 7:30/8 o'clock tonight. There was a My Player episode went up last night as well, so check the channel page for that if you missed it. Of course, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content coming to you on this channel. We've got the AC Milan career mode, the World Cup Stickerbook challenge, and of course the My Player series as well, all of which are going down particularly well. Some great support on the channel right now. Of course, we recently hit 9,000 subscribers, which is absolutely wonderful. But feel free to leave the video a like if you enjoyed. The previous episode link is on screen, the subscription link is on screen, and there's a link in the description to subscribe and to my Twitter as well. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.